Jared had his personal information, private personal information shared by someone in a trusted position. And they probably shared it with the one person in the world who has the world's biggest mouth.
Jason Goodman.
No, that would be Josie, but I can come close second.
Yeah, you are close second. Josie used to have like a big lead on you, but now I think it's a close second.
If somebody is going to tell me some information about Jared that nobody knows, I'm certainly going to put that in our thread.
Right, and blow it out of proportion.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, so what
I didn't
happened?
blow it out of proportion. I said exactly what they told me.
We'll be the
Oh,
judge.
yeah, I got it in a group text.
Yep.
Oh, I heard Jared was
Bitching.
Yep.
about a problem to his HOA, to the HOA board or whatever. I'm like, no,
And I was
that's
thinking
not
to
true
myself,
at all.
You hate HOAs, don't you?
Yeah, I do hate HOAs.
Yeah.
I don't. Certain HOAs are very restrictive. Others, like our neighborhood, so far I don't know what all the rules are, and we don't pay that much a month. I think the more you pay, the more restrictive it is.
Yeah.
Which is like
Yeah.
the opposite.
I love HOAs.
Didn't you try to sue your HOA?
No, I tried to tell the person that I was going to break my septic tank anyway so I could use the other field that they wouldn't let me use. then they try to sue me. Or
He loves them.
Then they threaten legal action. I love it.
I remember you were talking about a lawyer for your HOA.
Yeah.
So somebody, I sent an email to one person,
Okay.
and maybe it went before the HOA board.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing, I asked a question. I didn't bitch about it. I just said, hey, somebody drove. Like I live on a cul-de-sac, right?
Okay.
And somebody like ripped up maybe 12 feet of like where the cul-de-sac bends. Think of like a semicircle, and it's like where it starts to bend. It's almost in between my house and another person's house. Like they almost peeled out
Spun
there.
out there.
And
so
it's
you're-
like
On your
deep.
lawn?
Yeah, and I don't know if there's like an easement, which is boring stuff, but it's like sometimes certain areas it's like that's actually not your property.
Yeah,
it's part of
sure.
the counties or the cities. So all I asked was like, hey, somebody, I think Amazon driver or some sort of delivery person tore through here, and now the road is cracking where it was torn because of the way the ground is uneven now. The pavement at the end of the cul-de-sac is cracking. Is that something the HOA covers, or what? How's it work? And she's like, you know what? I don't know the answer to this question. And then so I sent it, went back and forth, had a very nice interaction with this person, and they're still looking into it. And then somebody,
Do you have the email?
I do.
Yeah, you should read it.
Did somebody share with you my email?
I don't know.
I don't care. There's nothing,
That's a yes.
there's nothing that's hit. There's nothing that's shady about the email.
Shady? I don't think shady.
Well, you
I'm
said bitching. I
I'm
was
just
not
glad that
bitching.
you finally acknowledged the HOA, how they can come in hand at times.
Well, first of all, they have no answer for it. And then if they're telling people like you that don't live in my neighborhood, my personal email content, that's really, to me, that's really, like I joke around a lot. That's to me really messed up. And I want this person fired and maybe their house destroyed.
you probably wow.
Jared.
I know. And you,
over some tire marks.
I know.
No, not
Over
over tire
what?
marks. The fact that I sent an email for our own specific HOA and then they're sharing my concerns with people outside of our neighborhood. It's nobody's business.
Yeah, but I think
Well, they might want to know people that could fix. They might have thought I could fix. I had a company that could fix your lawn.
I think the content of the email matters here.
Did they
Yeah.
know
If
your
you're
job
share-
because
yeah.
of your email? Did you use your station
You said-
email?
yeah,
No,
did
I
you do
didn't.
that?
No, I didn't use my
It says,
station email.
but it said in the email they were sure to point out. This is like Jared at 1075KZL@gmail.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
it's the only email I have had for 15 years.
Okay,
But it's
well-
not the station email. I have my
No.
own personal.
But,
But
it still,
indicates that-
yes, indicates that you.
No, that's
yes.
not it at all. I don't do that for that reason. It's the only email I have.
Nope. Okay.
When I first started here, I didn't have my own email address.
So why did you make one that has the call
When I
letters
first
in
started
it?
here, I didn't have my own email address.
Right.
So I
So-
made one so people that when I worked here could email me at the station. But then when we got our own email addresses, I've had this Gmail for 15 years now.
Yeah, but you told me that you like to respond if they know you're from the station because you might be able to get more things done quicker because
it's
you might talk about
it's
it.
the only email I have.
Okay. Well, either way, I think that the content of the email matters. Now, if they're giving out personal banking information or something about your family, I could see how you'd be like, yes, I'm very, very, very upset. And what did you say? You wanted their house to what?
Yep, burn.
Well, no, not burned down. I didn't say burned down. Destroyed.
destroyed.
It could be a
Okay.
tornado. It's fine.
But the content of the email is that it's overtired. Did you just not want? Did you want them to know that you didn't do it?
No, it's not that. It's not that at all. And the fact is, I found out more information. My neighbor said it's the post office worker. She's at home when he comes by, and they just for years before I moved in there, it got so bad that the previous homeowner put like reflective stakes at the end,
Yeah, I've
and
seen
then the
that a
post
lot.
office driver ran over them. They all fell down.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
Dang.
So
people
the
do
post office
things.
is on my list too. I'm sure Jason already knows about that.
I thought it was the Amazon driver, no?
Well, there's it could be multiple people, but they said the post office has been, according to my neighbor, for years and years and years, just for whatever reason, just drives on that section. Like
Okay.
I don't know if it's the angle of my mailbox that when they turn, that it's like a hard turn, and just goes to the yard, doesn't care.
They are on the opposite side when they're driving, so maybe it's a little wonky.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't
it's
know.
harder. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
But all the other cul-de-sacs don't have the problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not on purpose. They said it's been going on. Two previous homeowners in my house. It's been going on for like 10 years plus.
Do you have pictures of the tire marks?
I don't.
Are you going to go out there and match some tires?
Well, no. I was just thinking, like, what's the severity of? Is it actually
It's like
that
12
bad?
feet.
Or like,
It's like 12 feet. It's deep, and now the road is cracking.
Okay.
It's not even that. If I emailed my HOA and I said, "Hey, when are we doing the fall fling?" and they're like, "Jared's emailing about the fall fling," to somebody outside the neighborhood, it's none of their business.
Well,
Katie, have you ever been in
Again,
HOA before?
No.
you don't know
Uh-uh.
that's what happened.
You said you already told me off there. Someone in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so if somebody you just said if they're emailing somebody out of the neighborhood, but if they're emailing somebody in the neighborhood,
And they tell people
and then
outside
that
the
person
neighborhood.
tells you, how are you going to prevent the rest of the neighborhood from talking about it?
Well, that's the part. I think when you're on HOA, part of it, I would assume, is that you don't go and tell people stuff.
Well, I
what
think
if I had a real complaint about a neighbor that was real sensitive, and they're just telling everybody? They could cause
Well, I
major
think
That's
problems.
why I'm saying the content matters.
I think
it matters
I
more,
think the
but I think-
content does when they have a problem in the neighborhood. My HOA shares it throughout the neighborhood without a doubt. So anybody in the neighborhood has shared the issue. Anybody could tell another person.
I'm going door to door today and finding a snitch. Now, the lady, just by chance, and I guess you're saying off there it's not true. The lady, just by chance, is a personal friend of Carol's on Facebook.
Oh.
Odd.
100%. It's not, and I don't think Carol even knows about this.
And you say it's not Jason Woods, who is a personal friend
No.
that lives in my neighborhood.
First and last name.
I
First
will
and
tell-
last
yeah.
name.
He seems very responsible, like he wouldn't be that type of guy. But he also hangs out with Jason sometimes, so I'm at a loss.
He's conflicted.
So you
No.
can't be completely responsible.
No. To me,
Jason, who was it?
I'm surprised that Jared's this upset of it. If it was
I
such an
didn't know you were
easy
so
email, what's
upset.
the big deal?
It is. It's kind of like if your doctor was telling your personal
No,
information.
it's not.
Even if it's
No.
nothing.
No, it is not.
No.
Does anyone agree with me
No.
that like you're sending something to your board and they're just sharing it?
If-
It doesn't make me confident that in the future, if I have a real problem, I don't want to bring it to their attention.
I think they'll probably take into consideration how serious it is.
It's not a medical
Yeah,
condition
and
for
with
crying
No,
out
I'm just
loud.
saying,
laws.
I hate all of you. It's like no one has any common sense.
Oh, you are the one overreacting.
I'm not-
Are you mad that it was Jason who found out? Like, what if somebody told
no,
Squid?
I would be mad. I'm like, why are they sharing your stuff? I've been in HOAs for many years, and I've never heard of someone going around sharing stuff that you send in to
All
them.
the time, my HOA will say, "Hey, we're having a problem over here." This
In
is
your
hap-"
neighborhood. They're
Yes.
not going to come to my neighborhood and telling me.
Right, but if they're doing it
Makes
in
no
your
sense.
neighborhood, listen. If they're doing it in your neighborhood, this is the second time, so you understand. If they're sharing with
You don't have to
your
be
neighbor,
condescending.
you're sharing with your neighbors. Then the neighbors could share it outside your neighborhood. You can't control all your neighbors.
No, I know, but if the HOA, they should have a rule where they don't discuss the emails that are sent in. Why would they discuss it with people outside the neighborhood?
They didn't discuss it with outside the neighborhood. They discussed it within the neighborhood.
How do you know that?
Because I know.
Well, with the HOA board, there was no meeting about the cul-de-sac.
I think also, Jared, it probably. First of all, he said you don't have to be condescending, but 2 seconds before said that he hates all of us.
That's not condescending.
Right. I would just like to remind you that he
Yes.
said that. And then also, if you didn't have KZL in your email address,
that was the
nobody
big
would be
point of
talking
it.
about it.
That was the big point of it.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
Because of course he sends an email with KZL.
But it's not even a
list-
course. That's my only email.
How do you think you're going to be anonymous when you have KZL
I don't want to
in
be
there?
anonymous. I live in the neighborhood. We only have like 40 people live in our neighborhood. It's not a big neighborhood.
Yeah.
They
It's
know
about to be.
And by the way, when I moved in, everyone like figured it out before I even moved in. There's a lot of listeners that live there for
Do you
whatever reason.
plan to complain a lot about your neighbors in the future?
I'm not complaining about my neighbors.
I'm
It's
not
about
saying,
somebody
but
ripping
you're
up.
saying that in the future.
No, if
like
I have an
you're-
issue and I know that at some board meeting, then they'll just be like, oh, do you know so and so, and it just turns into some sort of gossip. No, I don't feel comfortable with that.
We don't
I
know
think
that happened. I mean, it's very possible. Like, hey, they had a board meeting where various members were there. Other members were like, hey, we're having a problem with male people driving on the lawn. We're trying to figure out a solution. Does anybody have any ideas?
They're like, let's go to Jason Goodman. He knows how to solve everything.
Well, I think they definitely
He
went
sued
to
his
the
HOA.
If they were going to somebody in the show, they made the right choice because the other three of us would have been like, please don't waste my time with this.
That's right. I don't want to care. I don't want to hear about
Yeah.
those
Don't
stupid
care.
tire marks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not. And it's yeah. So what did they say to you? How did you even find out? Like, where are you? Where people,
they
like,
said-
what boring life do you have where people are sharing with you other people's HOA information?
Wow, because Jared has
we
such an
were-
exciting life.
Well,
We were
All
all
weekend he's
subject to
texting
it.
me politics stuff and then HOA stuff. But go ahead. Who?
Oh, this is
is
I see
up,
what's
dude?
happening.
Well,
This is
how
like
did
a
this-
You get
deep-seated.
so
did this-
mad that I
how
found
did
out
this come
about a
up?
complaint that you made in your HOA. Are you kidding?
I think it's a break of confidence.
And then
I don't think how you all don't see that.
You compare that to a doctor giving
So,
away your medical
what if we
information?
what
I don't
if we
think
email
anybody
what if
would
we
agree.
email our HR person?
Yeah.
And they discuss it amongst management, and then they start telling everybody in the building.
I think it's
oh, he
different.
came to me.
Laws.
That's
There are
different.
like
There might
laws
be
for
HOA
that.
rules that you're not supposed to discuss
Well,
outside
are
the
there?
HOA. I don't know.
But wait a minute here.
I-
We're talking about somebody's lawn that got messed up. We're not talking about medical records or employments.
It's a similar thing. It's
No,
like an
it's not.
analogy.
The content's
yes, it is.
different.
I do feel you, Jared.
Thank you,
I would
Squid.
expect some form of confidentiality if I'm
Yes,
doing
that's
that.
all I'm saying.
But at the same time, I feel like every person that like is actually on the board of a HOA, you really have to enjoy like drama and because
That's
you
probably
have to
Yes.
willingly deal with so
But-
much complaints all the time.
but, Squid-
I feel like it's kind of like
And you're not getting paid
almost-
for it.
If it's
Yeah.
confidential, if like you're reporting a neighbor, but if you're talking about trying to get something in the neighborhood fixed and they're discussing it with the rest of the neighbors in the neighborhood, you can't prevent another neighbor from running into somebody saying, yeah, we're having a problem with a mail thing. In fact, Jared complained about it. Jared from 107.5 KZI. I think you know him. That you have no control.
Who's this person?
HOA easily will say, hey, is there any way we could get people not to drive over here? And then once that's out, anybody can say anything. Now, if he was complaining about a neighbor, I don't think they share that with the neighbor.
Don't know now. Can't trust them. Hey, tell me if this neighbor is off the air. I'm going to throw trash in your yard every day.
And then you're going to be the subject of somebody
That's
else's
fine.
email.
And then I'll share it with everybody on the air.
Why
Have a
are you so
platform.
mad about it?
The fact that I thought maybe somebody on the show would understand it's a break confidentiality, and no one does.
Of what, though? They have to
It's
share it
not
with
that
the
what I
neighborhood.
said was bad. It was nothing bad. But
Right,
it,
exactly.
But
They
the way
had
it's
to share
presented to you, Jared was bitching about, and that's not even true. That is not even true at all. I wasn't bitching
But
about it.
you
I asked
have-
the question.
The HOA has to share it within the neighborhood a lot of times in certain things. Just like, for instance, I got a note the other day from the HOA saying, hey, we had a lot of cars go through at a high rate of speed. We're trying to get everybody to slow down in the neighborhood because it's hard to see over a hill. Somebody complained. They shared that through the
Do
entire.
they say Jason Goodman complained about this?
Well,
That's different.
They
A
knew
general
because it
complaint's
was said
fine.
Jared from 107.5 KZ.
Oh, did they say, the email from Jason Goodman at gmail.com sent this?
I
No, they
didn't
don't
send
say
it.
that. I'm just saying a general complaint.
Well,
you
but
wouldn't
they
say who
might
it
say,
was.
hey, we're having a problem at our this address, my property. We're mailmen are running over the lawn. We're trying to figure out a way to prevent this, and that would just go through the neighborhood. It wouldn't be any big deal. Now, if I was complaining about a neighbor, and they're like, well, Jason Goodman's complaining about the neighbor next door, that would be different. Or it's just the way what's in the email. It's complaining about a mailman driving on the lawn and trying to prevent it in the neighborhood. I think should be shared by everybody because somebody might have an idea, and then the person in your neighborhood then shared it outside the neighborhood.
Who told you?
Ooh, who told you?
Can't tell.
Why?
After seeing this lunatic, I don't want to tell him.
This is a guy who was going to hire a lawyer to sue his HOA that he loves so much. Sue his HOA over septic issues.
I wasn't going to sue. I was going to defend. But
And
yeah.
you said you read every word of your bylaw
He's
like
a
4
lunatic
times.
because Jason wanted to break his own septic. That to me
part.
is
That's the lie.
lunatic
I don't want to
behavior.
break your own septic anyway. I don't even understand.
That's the part.
That makes him a
I'm
lunatic.
lunatic
would
and then I
never
want
act like-
revenge,
I would
deep-seated revenge on this person.
I
this
would
snitch.
You're
think-
wasting your time. You think I have a boring life, and you're getting worked up like this over an HOA? Somebody driving on your lawn, there's a lot more you could be doing by getting worked up over this than a neighbor that happened
That's why
to
I
say.
saved it for the air because I'm not doing it at home. And the post office is next on my list because apparently it's been a problem.
I heard it could be the Amazon driver for the record, though.
Well, yeah. And when you live in a cul-de-sac, really?
This was an
Yes.
in-depth
Did you
discussion.
hear that?
Is it do
I
you
heard
know?
it's an Amazon truck.
That's what I
That's
thought.
doing.
And it's this huge truck, and it's
Yeah,
massive.
They're saying it was the Amazon truck because they had to ask ask other neighbors if they've seen any of this going on.
Yeah.
So neighbors start reporting.
Jason knows
that-
more
He
about
knows
it
it
than you
all.
do.
Of course he does.
He knows it all. Yeah.
that it's an Amazon truck that's doing it. So,
Yeah.
so
Ooh,
they,
can I sue Amazon?
so they
I wouldn't go after Amazon. You will lose.
They,
You will
I'm a
lose.
former employee of theirs.
Please create a different
Did you see
email
what
if
I'm
you're going to
saying?
email
Yes,
Amazon.
please.
So they had to share within the neighborhood if they see any trucks doing this. So that's how it probably got out.
And you know what? Here's another thing. I have the problem with the email. I have the problem with the email because here's what happens. You email a lot of people with your opinions and your thoughts and your ways. And then somehow or another,
sending
we're
opinion
all guilty. You do. When you do this sort of thing,
Uh-huh.
then it becomes a reflection on the rest of KZL. And I want no part of that.
Okay.
I want to be distanced from
And
you
I will change
and your
that
opinions.
on the 10th of never.
Well, we've always felt this way.
You felt this way about my email address?
Yes, because you use it for everything. We're like, this dude's
I
trying
don't
to get
send
free
people
stuff.
I don't send people my
When
opinions
you're
on my
like,
email.
yeah, you do.
I do it on
When
social
you're-
media.
Yeah, you do. Whenever you're logged in using your email or your name, and it's like, I'm just going to tell this hotel how I feel about them. I'm going to tell this restaurant how I feel. And it's like, Jared KZL, duh. Everybody knows who
No,
you
it's
are.
not to complain. It's hope to get free stuff.
Yes,
obviously.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
We
why
want
were
no
you
part of
defending,
that.
What's
why
wrong
were you
with that?
defending that email to begin
No,
with?
because that's what I set up. I'm saying I didn't set up for that reason, but there's added benefits.
Yes, of course.
we
But
know
if I-
it.
That's what we
But
agreed
if it's a
upon. but
hotel
you're
out
like,
of the
"That's
area,
not
they don't
what
know who
I
it
said."
is.
Yes.
If it's a hotel that's like 50 miles away, they have no idea what that means.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
You do
I
it
don't
here.
stay in hotels here.
You do
And,
it. You do other things
let
here.
me
You're
ask you.
focusing on the wrong thing.
I don't send emails to Red Robin here.
Right, but in the email, let me ask you.
You will for everything
in
else.
the email from the HOA,
Yes.
did you or did you not?
Are we in a court of
Oh, my
law?
word.
Oh, we're
you- or
always in
did
court
you
law with
not?
Jason.
Ask if the HOA would pay to fix your
I
lawn.
said, is this something that the HOA takes care of?
Yes.
That's all I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the road is now ruined. And Jason encouraged me to buy this house. So I blame you. It's ruined.
In the future,
What's-
can you guys just have a fist fight outside work hours? Because this is really.
I would
What's
not
the
act
answer,
like
though?
that if,
Huh?
if somebody said something about my HOA.
They don't have an
know.
answer. They don't know. They said,
Oh.
we might need to contact the Department of Transportation. I'm like, just forget it. I'll just live on a crappy, messed up road.
I would just say, just want to let you know, I didn't do this. I'm not paying for it.
It wasn't even about that. It was just,
No, I don't think that they're saying that Jared has to pay for it. I think Jared took the initiative of, why is my lawn a road?
No, that's
Boy.
my point. I would want to send the email in the first place saying, just so you know, this has happened. I didn't do it.
and you know those things that police throw out when there's a high speed chase
The
that
strip.
pops
Yes.
the tires. I'm gonna put
Yeah.
that all on my cul-de-sac, and I'll know where it is.
Pop your own tires,
I probably will.
and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you'll be late to
I'm
work.
like, Katie, I can't come to work. My tires are popped.
And I'll be like, this damn Tesla.
Now the way you're reacting, I do want to get a hold of the email. I think I
No,
can get
it's
it.
more against you. I can read it. The email is so boring. Do
You
y'all
should
wanna
put
keep- I
this-
don't think anyone wants to continue this
You
conversation.
should put the
Exactly.
spike strips in the ruts of the tire. If it's the same, they go the same route, they won't
Yeah.
see them. You
Okay.
can get them got.
I said my address. A delivery driver turns around on our circle and have ripped a big part of the grass in a huge puddle every time it rains. Is the HOA able to fix this?
Mm.
That's just the question. Well, putting flyers in the paper slots the other day. This is boring stuff. I took a picture. I believe you're referencing. I don't know what the HOA will suggest, but I'll tell Jason Goodman and others not in our neighborhood to ruin your freaking life. I didn't read the email. My fault. It says it right there in the email.
Ruined your life. I found out that you sent a letter to your HOA about a driveway thing. What in the world?
I don't like snitches.
This is worse than next door. Next door, you just have to put your whole name, your face, like all of it, and then people can just slam you to your face.
Right.
You can't be anonymous on next door.
No, you can't.
Mm-mm.
But I thought I was in my emails.
Okay.